everybody, welcome to the Chef Dana Show. Do we have something utterly delicious for you today? Now, I know what you're saying, Chef. It's springtime, we're getting ready to roll into the summertime. I need some of those menus that I can cook out on the grill, something I can make that's light and easy. So today, I have for you a flat iron steak sandwich, something quick and simple. And to go with that, I got something refreshing. We're gonna do a watermelon, strawberry, mozzarella, basil salad. All right, let's get into it right now on the Chef Dana Show. So you can see I got plenty of flavorful items here on the board. I've got some ginger, I've got some cloves, some sugar, some vinegar, and of course some onions. I think the best thing that goes along with the sandwich would be an onion marmalade. So I'm gonna show you how I pull one of those together pretty quickly. If you're growing some onions in your garden, here's what I like to do with them. So I got my little saute pan here, and I just have an onion there that I've sliced. I'm gonna add some oil to here, right? My pan's nice and hot. To that, I'm gonna add some julienne or sliced onions. Okay. Now it's funny, I teach over at Fairwinds Christian School, so I'm always teasing my kids, that's not a real julienne, that's not real julienne. A real julienne is like super, super, super thin. It's just a word that we've used here in America over time and kind of gotten accustomed to it. And so we call a lot of things julienne, but what you really want are some thin sliced onions. Very thin sliced onions. And I'm just going in my pan here, and I'm just chopping them up a little bit. And we're just gonna sweat them up. So what does sweat mean? Sweat means we're gonna bring some of them juices out of there. Break them down a little bit, okay? So I add a little oil in the pan. I'm gonna get ready to put my lid on there though, so I can let some of that moisture that's coming out actually fall back in the pan a little bit. All right? This will also help them to cook just a little faster. So I'm gonna throw a lid on here. Next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get ready to peel some ginger. Ginger adds a lot of flavor to this one. You only need a little bit. You know, maybe half-inch piece at most. Ginger's got a lot of pop to it. Okay, so we're gonna peel it just like this. And I'm gonna cut the end off. And we're gonna mince it up. I'm gonna cut that little piece off, and we're just gonna start to mince it real fine. Because again, nobody wants like a whole mouthful of ginger, but we do want to take advantage of that flavor. So we're just gonna chop it up just like this. Ginger's always one of those spices where it has a lot of kick to it. I know a lot of times when we're, say, cooking, you might have it in your cabinet in a powder form. I love it in this fresh form though. I think it's even better. It just wakes the whole onion marmalade up. Okay. So there's my ginger. Let me check my onions again. I see my pan's getting steamy on top. See them juices falling back in there? Okay. I'm gonna put the top back on again. Let it hang out for a minute. But we're getting there. We're starting to pick up a little bit of color and everything. Let's sweat them out a little bit more. Now, if you wanted to add a little bit of richness to your marmalade, there is a trick you could do. You could add a little bit of butter if you wanted to. Today, I'm just using a little bit of oil. A little bit more heart healthy with it, but if you wanted to add some richness, you could do butter. All right, so while that is going, let me grab my piece of flat iron steak from the fridge. All right, so we got a little piece of beef here. And I'm just gonna season that with a little bit of salt and pepper before I throw it on our little grill here, my little indoor grill. But if you're hanging outdoors, you can certainly do it on your outdoor grill. I didn't want to bring the grill in here. I probably set every smoke alarm off in the building, so we're gonna keep it casual. All right, so there is my steak. To this, we're gonna add just a little bit of oil. And we're going to get ready to cook this baby up. Okay, so my steak is ready. Once I throw it on the grill, I'm going to season the other side. I feel as though it's important to season the meat as you cook because the salt pulls through the meat. So you always want to make sure to do it in the beginning, not at the end when you're cooking stuff like beef. Okay, now while I'm letting that sit for a second, I got my little sandwich breads here. So I'm just going to throw these right on here. I'm going to drizzle it with a little bit of oil itself. Just give it a little love. And we are going to just put some grill marks on the bread. Nothing crazy. Just add a little flavor. Okay, 1 and 2. And then I'm actually going to do the other side as well. I have a double-sided grill going on here, so it's going to cook both at the same time. A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and let's cook that for just a minute or two. So let's check out these onions. Okay, as you can see, my onions are cooking away. It is time we get ready to add some goodies to the pot because we're picking up some color. So to my pot here, I'm going to add few things. We're going to add some sugar. And I'm going to turn it down a little bit on purpose. And the reason why is once I add the sugar, once I add the vinegars and so forth, we don't want to over caramelize the sugar. So in here I'm adding the sugar. I'm going to add the vinegar. I'm going to add a couple little pieces of clove. And I'm going to add my ginger. And we're just going to let her just simmer for a while. So we can make nice in the pot. Okay. And I'm just going to give it a little shake. So everything becomes happy together. And I'm going to put the lid on. I'm going to let it ride for about 20 minutes or so on a lower heat setting than when I started on because, again, I do not want to burn the sugars. I don't want to burn the vinegars and so forth. All right. Perfect. So let's take a look at our bread. Boom, look at that. Hold on. Who you with? Look at the color. Look at the lines. You see that? Isn't that nice? That is nice. I'm loving that. Cool. So we got some nice grill marks on our bread, which is indicating that we got some flavor going on. I'm going to grill the other two real quick. Because I know my guys, they're going to want to eat after this one. My crew is like, Chef, you're not going to sit there and make something like this, and we're not getting them when it's over. So I'm going to hook up 2 more. Now, for the dressing on the bread, or something to put on it, I don't really suggest like mayonnaise on a sandwich like this one. I'm going to go with mustard. I'm going to go with mustard. I think that's the appropriate one here for this type of sandwich. Okay, a little cracked black pepper. And we're going to press that right into it. I'm going to get rid of a couple of these dishes real quick. Got to clean as we go. All right, so we've got our steak. Steak is on standby. I'm going to set that right there for the moment. That's on standby. That's going to be our next move once this bread comes out of here. We're going to jump into the steak. In the meantime, let's talk about this salad a little bit. So we're going to do a watermelon, mozzarella, tomato, strawberry salad. I know you're like, well, where are the greens at, Chef? Where are the greens at? Everything doesn't always have to be lettuce. We're going to use basil today, fresh basil. So a couple of cool things. One, mozzarella is actually the nation's #1 leading cheese in terms of sale. You can get it in what they call low moisture, where it's like 50% or lower, or 52% or higher is the high moisture mozzarella. Mozzarella came over from Italy. It was one of those cheeses. It was rumored, legend to have been produced because some curds fell into some boiling water. I'm going to use the word allegedly. Nevertheless, mozzarella is born. It becomes one of the more popular cheeses in the world. Originally, though, they couldn't get it out of Italy because it doesn't have all the preservatives that other cheeses had. It was a very fresh cheese, so it was almost like you had to make it and then you had to use it, right? So that's mozzarella. We're going to pair that today with our dear friend watermelon. So watermelons are cool, like some of the other fruits in the world, say like a coconut. You're like, well, how do watermelon and coconut go together? They go together in the sense that they have high moisture content in the center. You crack open a coconut, it's filled with coconut water. So for people in that part of the world that had coconuts and they need to travel, they would take coconuts along with them. In that part of the world, they're surrounded by salt water in the sea. So the coconuts were always like something wet and refreshing if they couldn't get their hands on fresh water. Same thing with the watermelon. The watermelons came from Africa and they were imported over here, and then they started growing them in the US. The watermelon is one of the fruits that is so full of juices. When they would travel long distances across different deserts and so forth, they would actually take a watermelon with them so that if they got thirsty, they would cut one open and then just eat it. And they knew it was had such a high moisture content, they would get their replenishment from the watermelon. So just some cool facts about that. First things first, let's cut up our mozzarella. Okay. Now this is a low moisture one I'm using today. You could use a high moisture one. Yeah, I know you might be like, well, chef, what's the difference? How do I tell the difference? A lot of times the high moisture one is going to be sold in a little tub with a liquid in it, like a brine and so forth. This one here is a low moisture one. You're like, can I use either one? You absolutely can. Just depends on what you want for your dish. Okay. Now I will tell you a lot of times, say like if you're making pizza, say if you're making pasta, you're probably going to see that low moisture one more often because it's going to release less juices in what you're making. Okay. Let's check my bread here. Uh-oh. Chef did it. Look what I did. They're going to be mad with me. She a little well done. We're going to put her to the side. We make mistakes. This is real, people. We're cooking. We're cooking. I'm over here running my mouth talking to y'all. All right. But we do have a beautiful one there. Check this out. Let's take a peek at this marmalade. Look at that. And again, I keep the lid on because I let the juices from the onion just fall right back in there. But look how much color we're picking up. How fast. See how that changed color? How dark it gets? We're going to let that go just a little bit longer. Do a little bit more of a reduction. The vinegar helps pull some of those brown bits right off the bottom of the pan when you're cooking the onion. So you get some color from that. You get some color from the red wine vinegar. And as the sugar caramelizes a bit, you're going to pick up some color. All right, so our next move is let's cut some tomato real quick. Now, I know a lot of people watching, where do you get the tomatoes? Listen, when it becomes springtime, you can find some of your best tomatoes at like the farmers markets and so forth. You start picking up those heirloom tomatoes. Jersey's always going to say they got the best tomatoes. That's just a Jersey thing. But you can find them lots of different places and really fresh and in abundance. Okay. So we got some tomato slices here. Put them right back in the dish. And then we'll jump into this watermelon for a second. Okay. So, watermelon. Watermelons, depending on the season that you're getting them in, they can be a little bit pricey. In the off months, like the winter and so forth, where they have to import them from other places, just expect to pay a fair amount for watermelon. In the spring and summer, you will see the cost on them drop significantly, where you could get, you know, a whole watermelon for like $4. Where during the off seasons, if you were to get a quarter watermelon like I have here today, you might pay $4 for it. So just, you know, use what's in season. You're always going to get the best value if you're using what's in season. All right, so here's my watermelon. You can do one of two ways. You can just make slices in it. You can make it look all pretty and cute. Here's what people sleep on. I'm going to show you this right now. See this rind right here? We've always been taught, right? Oh, nobody's going to eat the rind. Let's get rid of the rind. Well, with the rind, what I like to do sometimes is, and maybe I'll show you on a different show, is we'll take these watermelon rinds, cut them up. We peel the green part off of here, right? This part that's right here. We peel this off, save the rind, put it in a little bit of sugar, apple cider vinegar, some cloves, some star anise, a little things like that. Throw it in a pot and it makes a really delicious treat. Like, you really don't have to waste the rind on the watermelon. All right, so let's cut a little bit here. And I'm just gonna cut the nice part out of here. And I'm not gonna use the rind today. Another show, I'll show you, another show. But we've done that before for like James Beard dinners and so forth. And they get a kick out of it. Watermelon rind, absolutely. Because you think about it, back in the day, we didn't waste nothing, anything. Okay, let's get him off of there. All right, there we go. All right, so there's our watermelon. We got him out of there. Didn't do a bad job, pretty clean, right? All right, so let's cut some slices. Now, watermelon, here's another version of the salad that I didn't tell you, but I'm going to put you on to something today. We're not doing it today, but I'm going to put you on to it. You can grill the watermelon. If you take the watermelon when it's nice, ice cold, slap it right on the grill. Incredible flavor. All right, so there's our watermelon. Now, if you wanted to dress your watermelon up and make it into some nice little pieces, we could do that. Right? If we want to be extra about it, I'm going to use my other pieces and make them look identical in size. Okay. So we've got our pieces here for the watermelon salad. We've got our mozzarella. We got our tomato. Let's get a plate and make a little magic real quick. Okay. So I'm going to grab a plate here. Oh, let's use this one. Why not? Actually, you know what? I'm going to do this one. I'm going to do this one. And I'm going to go over here and get one of my favorite treats. I don't know if you guys are hip on this, but balsamic reduction. You can buy it in the store, or you can make your own. If you're going to make your own, it's not difficult. You would just need some balsamic, obviously, balsamic vinegar. You're going to need a little bit of honey. But we would reduce a whole big bottle of balsamic vinegar, and then we'd add some honey to it. Once we've reduced the balsamic vinegar by a third, add some honey to it. Comes out excellent, and balsamic vinegar or balsamic reduction is born. You can do the same thing with a nice bottle of Pinot Noir. Pinot Noir makes a nice reduction too. Or you could do a fig glaze. Same thing. All right, so here we go. We have our watermelon. We've got our tomato. I've got some fresh strawberries. And we're going to put together a nice little salad here. All right, so first thing I'm going to put down is I'm going to put down a piece of watermelon, and we'll just kind of shingle it. Chef, what's shingle? Think about the roof of your house, right? Roof of your house, you shingle it, right? In layers. Same thing we're going to do here with our salad. All right, and then we're going to come back. Oh, wait a minute. Let's add some basil in here. Basil and mozzarella and tomato, they tend to be friends. So I'm going to add a little bit of basil in here as we're building. Just like this. Stay. I'm going to get my salt and pepper. Just a little bit. You know, it's like people would be like, oh yeah, I'm going to put salt on my watermelon. Same thing. We're just going to bring it all together. Another piece of mozzarella. Another piece of basil. The basil is just going to wake up the dish. It's important to use fresh basil, not the one up in the cabinet that's dry. Fresh basil is going to give you that pop. The dry basil has its purpose, but I don't like to use it in fresh cooking as much. I like to use it when we're, doing stews and so forth. That's where the fresh basil comes into play. And then we're going to do another piece. Okay. I'm going to add a little bit more fresh basil. We're going to finish with this piece of tomato. All right, so I'm going to spin that. That's the start. Okay, we're going to add just a pinch of salt. We're going to add just a pinch of pepper, because the tomato loves the pepper. We're going to add some strawberries now. Some slices, just to garnish the top, real thin. Okay, just sprinkle lightly over the top. If one or two falls off, it's all good. Looks a little more natural. All right, slight drizzle of oil. Ever so slightly. Okay, and we're going to finish it up with the glaze. Just a back and forth. The glaze has a little punch of flavor, so you got to be somewhat careful with it. But just a drizzle back and forth, nice and light. Okay. And this is our strawberry watermelon basil salad. All right, so that's your salad for your little dinner party. That's the salad. Okay, we're gonna set that there. Let's get into this, or finish up this sandwich. The sandwich is gonna come together pretty quick. Okay, so on the sandwich, here's our piece of beef that's been hanging out. I'm gonna put this baby on here, just like this. Peeking at my onions. Ooh, that smells good. All right, so let's put our beef on the grill. And remember what I said, I'm gonna season the other side right now. Ooh, you hear that sizzle, right? We got that thing going on. All right, let's put a little bit of, just a pinch of oil on the other side. Okay, a little salt and pepper. Because remember, it pulls through the meat. Here's the pepper. Now right here, I know you didn't think I was gonna get the grill popping, and we don't have a little bit of garlic. Come on now. So we're gonna sprinkle just a little bit of garlic here on our beef. Okay. Close that baby up. Say, I love you, I love you, I love you. No, seriously, in a few minutes, it's gonna be done. Few minutes. But you're gonna love this piece of steak. Okay, I'm just gonna move a couple things out the way so we can get ready to rock this sandwich. Okay. I'm looking at my well-grilled piece of toast. You know who likes her toast well-grilled? I'm going to call her out right now on TV. See this right here? This is my wife all day. She loves a crisp piece of bread, a crisp piece of toast. This is actually her all day. She loves it like that. The flavor it develops when it starts to get really toasted. So, shout out to my wife, Tisha. I'll bring it home for you, babe. I'll bring it home for you. We got a little mustard. So let's take a peek here at what we got going on. I'm going to go ahead and pull my onions off, and I'm going to give you guys a peek at what we got going on in this pot, which is cray-cray. See that right there? Look at the color on that. Yes, sir. We got some flavor going on, people. I'm just gonna pull these to the side of the pan. Now, with your onions, you can, what's the word I'm looking for? You can put it in a bowl, throw it in the fridge, let it sit a while. The juices that you're seeing right here will actually tighten up a little bit. So if you want, say, a kind of a saucy kind of onion thing going on, you can do that. All right, not yet, not yet. Almost. All right, so as we build our sandwich, I'm gonna use a little Dijon mustard. You can use like stone ground if you want to also. But we're gonna put a little mustard on there. Take my knife here, just spread that out a bit. So we get equal amount of love on the bread. Both sides. Okay. Just like that. And the mustard's great because the mustard's going to actually cut the sweetness of the onion marmalade. Okay, so we're going to put a nice little layer of onion marmalade on here. If you happen to see a little piece of clove, take that out. I see a little piece here. There you go. Okay. Beautiful. Let's check on the steak. Let's see what we're working with. Now, when you're doing steaks, I'm going to say this. I'm going to give you the disclaimer right now. Normally, we would let it rest a little while. So what does resting do for a piece of meat? Today I'm going to cut it, and you're going to see little juices run out. Normally, if you were to have a piece of meat, and you go to a fine dining restaurant, they're going to actually cook your steak and let it sit in the window for just a little bit. They're letting it sit in the window for a little bit so that the meat, the flesh, actually absorbs the juices back into it. Like everything inside that piece of meat is excited. So when you cut it open, everything just wants to go, right? So just a heads up. All right, let's check this out here. Yes, sir. Yep, we are done. So I'm gonna pull this piece off right here. Okay. And let's cut some steak. Oh, it's hot. All right, so about, right about there should be enough. Okay. Let me keep that right there, just keep it warm. And then I'm going to cut some pieces of our steak. Oh, that's toasty. Told you we would cook it around here. Don't think this is TV edit time. This is hot. All right, so if it's hot, you might want to use a piece of a pair of your tongs. I said a piece of tongs, a pair of your tongs, and just slice it nice and thin like this. Now, the reason I'm slicing it thin like this for a sandwich, you know how like when you're eating a sandwich and you get a hold of that piece of turkey or whatnot, or that piece of ham, and you accidentally pull the whole thing out the sandwich? Not what we're trying to do today. So I'm cutting it on the bias. I'm cutting some slices so that as we make our sandwich, and if we happen to get a piece, we know we're not going to take the whole sandwich apart. Okay. Boom. And then you just put the top on just like that. Let's cut that baby in half. Now this would be a perfect sandwich if you just wanted to pair it with something light. Say for example, if you had like some of those root chips, you know what I mean? The sweet potato chips and so forth. That would be a great addition to this right here. All right, so here we go. We have our flat iron steak sandwich to go along with our strawberry, balsamic, watermelon, mozzarella, and tomato salad. I'm Chef Dana. I hope you join us back next time right here on the Chef Dana Show on DETV.